Good morning, students. Welcome you all. Today we will start a new chapter of supplementary reader. The chapter name is Bringing Up Kari. Bringing up means nursing up. Kari is the name of a baby elephant the baby elephant was 5 months old, whereas the keeper, the boy, was 9 months old. Both of them grew together, but eventually Kari started to grow in a fastly. Afterward, what had happened? Kari also saved the life of a drowning boy. Kari was very conscious. Kari was very careful. Kari learned a lot of lessons. He learned the lesson of Dhat, how to sit by pulling his ear. Kari learned Mali, how to walk when the boy pulled his trunk. He started to walk, and after all, at last, he learned the lesson master call. Master call is a strange hissing and howling sound. That is the sound produced by tiger and snake. When the tiger and snake, both of them will fight, such type of sound will come, hissing and howling. Hissing sound of the snake and howling sound of the tiger. So such type of sound will be produced. Afterward, the elephant will pull down the trees from the forest in the dark night, and all the other animals will be afraid of, and afterward the elephant will make a way in the dark night. Understand? So we read here about this. Next one is that that Kari had developed a bad habit. He started to steal bananas from the dining room, but when he was caught up by the keeper, he left this one and he repented on his action. Afterward, we will continue the chapter. So read the chapter. Thank you.
Bringing up means nursing up, educating, and Kari is the name of an elephant. Kari, a 5-month-old baby elephant, lives and grows up with his 9-year-old friend and keeper. Kari doesn't eat much, just about 16 kilograms of delicious twigs a day. Playful and sensitive, Kari saves a boy from drowning. Come on the chapter. Kari the elephant was 5 months old when he was given to me to take care of. I was 9 years old and I could reach his back if I stood on tiptoe. Kari was a baby elephant. He was 5 months old when he was given to the narrator of the story, and he was the keeper of the elephant, and the keeper was 9 years old, and he could reach on his back if he stood on his tiptoe, on his fingers toe. We grew together. That is probably why I never found out just how tall he was. He lived in a pavilion under a thatched roof which rested on thick tree stumps so that it could not fall in when Kari bumped against the poles as he moved about. He seemed to remain that high for 2 years. They grow in the same way. They grew together, and that is possibly the narrator never found that how tall he was. Kari lived in a pavilion. Pavilion means a large tent under a thatched roof. Thatched means roof that covers with straw and palm leaves. Hut, we can say it, which rested, and the thatched roof was rested on thick tree stump. Tree stump means remnant of a cut or fallen tree. Means that hut was on the tree stumps, on the remnant of a cut or fallen tree stumps. Tree stumps were support for thatch, so that it could not fall. In when Kari bumped means collide. Heavy blow. When Kari will collide, the pavilion will not, the thatch will not fall. For that purpose, it was supported on thick tree stumps. Come on the next. One of the first thing Kari did was to save the life of a boy. Kari did not eat much, but he nevertheless needed 40 pounds of twigs a day to chew and play with. The first thing Kari did was he saved the life of a boy who was drowning. And Kari did not eat much. He only needed 40 pounds of twigs. Pounds means, what do you mean by the term pound? 1 pound is equal to 454 kg. Means he needed 40 pounds of twigs. Twigs means branches of a tree, delicious branches of a tree, tender branches of a tree a day to chew and play with. Every day I used to take him to the river in the morning for his bath. He would lie down on the sand bank while I rubbed him with the clean sand of the river for an hour. And it was the duty of the keeper, and every day the keeper took Kari in the river, and there in the morning Kari used to bath in the river, and the narrator, the keeper, the boy rubbed sand on the back of the elephant, clean sand of the river for an hour. After that he would lie in the water for a long time, and after that Kari would lie in the water for a long time. On coming out, his skin would be shining like a ebony, and he would squeal with pleasure as I rubbed water down his back. And after an hour, Kari would come out from water, and his skin looks like ebony. Ebony means a kind of hard black wood. After that he would squeal, make a trumpet, make a cry. Squeal means cry. With pleasure, with happiness, as I rubbed water down his back. When I rubbed water down his back, he would make a squeal, cry with happiness. Then I would take him by the ear, because that is the easiest way to lead an elephant, and leave him on the edge of the jungle while I went into the forest to get some luscious twigs for his dinner. And after that, what will happen? I would take him by his ear, because this is the easiest way, simplest way to lead an elephant, to control an elephant. And I will leave the elephant on the edge of the forest, because I have to go to bring luscious twigs. Luscious means delicious, tasty, sweet, tasty and delicious twigs. Twigs means small branches. For his dinner, one has to have a very sharp hatchet to cut down these twigs. It takes half an hour to sharpen the hatchet because if a twig is mutilated, mutilated, sorry, mutilated, an elephant will not touch it. And one has to have sharp the hatchet. Hatchet means small axe to cut down these twigs, and it takes half an hour to sharpen to make it sharp to cut hatchet because if a twig is mutilated means unevenly cut or damaged, an elephant will not touch it. It was not an easy job to get twigs and saplings for Kari. I had to climb all kinds of trees to get the most delicate and tender twigs, as he was very fond of the young branches of the banyan tree, which grows like a cathedral of leaves and branches. And it was not an easy job to get twigs and saplings. Sapling means a small plant for Kari, and I had to climb. The keeper had to climb all kinds of trees to get the most delicate, tender twigs, soft and smooth and tender twigs, as because he was very fond of the elephant was fond of young branches of the banyan tree, and that banyan tree which grows like a cathedral of leaves and branches. Cathedral means here you have seen the principal church, the upper part of a church. So the elephant likes banyan tree leaves which grows like a cathedral, and he needed branches. I was gathering some one spring day in March when I suddenly heard Kari calling to me in the distance as he was still very young. The call was more like that of a baby than an elephant. What had happened? When the narrator, the keeper, was collecting some twigs, delicate twigs, one spring day in March, suddenly he heard someone is calling to him in the distance, and he thought that he was still very young. Kari was still very young. The call was more like that of a baby than elephant. The call was more like that of a baby than elephant. An elephant. The call was just like a baby. I thought somebody was hurting him, so I came down from my tree and ran very fast to the edge of the forest where I had left him, but he was not there. But when I reached on the place, on the edge, on the verge of the forest, there I have left him, I did not get Kari on that place. I looked all over, but I couldn't find him. I went near the edge of the water and I saw a black something struggling above its surface. Then it rose higher and it was the trunk of my elephant. I thought he was drowning. I was helpless because I could not jump into the water and save the 400 pounds of him since he was much higher than I. So the keeper went near the edge of the water, and there he found a black something struggling above its surface of the water. Then it rose, came out higher, and it was the trunk of his elephant. I thought he was drowning. Drowning means he was going inside the water, and on that time I felt helpless because I could not jump into the water and save the 400 pounds of him because Kari was so heavy. since he was much higher than much higher than the keeper. But I saw his back rise above the water, and the moment he caught my eye, he began to trumpet and struggle up to the shore. But when I saw his back above the water, and on that moment he caught my eye, means that our eyes met together, connected to each other, and on that time he began to trumpet, began to cry. Trumpet is a cry sound of an elephant, and struggled up to the shore. And Kari was struggling to come on the shore, on the bank. Then, still trumpeting, he pushed me into the water, and as I fell into the stream, I saw a boy lying flat on the bottom of the river. And when, still trumpeting, Kari pushed me into the water, and there I fell into the stream. When I came into the stream, I got a boy there. That boy was lying flat on the bottom of the river, and he had not altogether touched bottom, but was somewhat afloat. I came to the surface of the water to take my breath, and there Kari was standing. So what I did on that time, I got that the boy was drowned, but not completely touched the bottom of the water. So I came to the surface of the water to take my breath, and on that time Kari was standing outside, his feet planted in the sand bank and his trunk stretched out like a hand waiting for mine. On that time I got that Kari was standing making firm his leg on the shore, and his feet planted in the sandbank and his trunk stretched, and he increased his trunk, opened his trunk just like a hand waiting for me. I dived down again and pulled the boy of the drowning boy to the surface, but not being a good swimmer, I could not swim ashore, and the slow current was already dragging me down. I dived down again. The keeper, dived inside the water again and pulled the boy of the drowning boy to the surface, to bring the surface of the water. But he was not a good swimmer, so he could not swim come on the bank, and the slow current of the river was already dragging me. Dragging means bringing me down. Seeing us drift in the current, Kari, who was usually slow and ponderous, suddenly darted down like a hawk and came halfway into the water, where I saw him stretch out his trunk again. And seeing us drift by in the current. When Kari saw me, that I was pulled by a slow current. Drift means slow current of the water. And who was normally slow. Kari was lazy, we can say that, slow in motion, and ponderous, one who thinks too much, suddenly darted, move rapidly. He moved rapidly like a hawk. Hawk is a bird of prey, similar to falcon. Means hawk is a bird that prey others animals, others birds also. A hawk, and came halfway into the water, where I saw him stretch out his trunk again. And he came when I got that Kari was normally slow and ponderous. Suddenly he moved rapidly, fastly down like a hawk and came halfway into the water, half portion of the water, where I saw him stretch out his trunk again. And he stretched, opened, unfurled his trunk again. I raised up my hand to catch it and it slipped. I found myself going under the water again. And at that time, Kari also opened his, stretched his trunk, and I was unable to catch the trunk once again. And I found myself going under the water. But this time, I found that the water was not very deep. So I sank to the bottom of the river and doubled my feet under me, and then suddenly kicked the river bed and so shot upwards like an arrow, in spite of the fact that I was holding the drowning boy with my hand. And this time I found that water was not very deep. The boy got that, the keeper got that, the water was not so deep. So he sank to the bottom of the river and doubled my feet, and he attempted doubled my feet under the water and suddenly kicked the river bed and so shot, and he came upwards like an arrow. And the fact is that he held the drowning boy in his hand. As my body rose above the water, I felt a lasso around my neck, and the boy, the keeper, came along with the drowning boy. On that time, he felt a lasso. Lasso means a rope around his neck. This frightened me. I thought some water animal was going to swallow me. I heard Kari squealing, and I knew it was his trunk about my neck. He pulled us both ashore. And the lasso frightened me, the rope, just like the trunk. I firstly understood that this is not a trunk, this is a rope. So this frightened me because the boy, the keeper became frightened, terrified, afraid of, and he thought that some water animal was going to swallow me, to eat me. I thought some water animal was going to swallow me, and I heard Kari squealing. Squealing means sound, cry, the sound of a trumpet sound of the elephant, and I knew it was his trunk about my neck. He pulled us both ashore. Kari was like a baby. He had to be trained to be good, and if you did not tell him when he was naughty, he was up to more mischief than ever. And Kari was like a baby. He had to be trained just like a baby. We train a baby. In the same way, Kari had to be trained just like a baby. He was naughty. He was up to more mischief than ever. He does more mischief. More mischief means he was very naughty. For instance, one day somebody gave him some bananas to eat. Very soon he developed a great love for ripe bananas. We used to keep large plates of fruit on a table near a window in the dining room. One day, all the bananas on that table disappeared, and my family blamed the servants for eating all the fruit in the house. For example, one day what had happened, somebody had given some bananas to eat Kari. So very soon he developed a great love habit for ripe bananas. And we used to keep large plates of fruits on a table near a window in the dining room. And in the dining room, the on a plates, large plate fruit was kept near the window. One day, all the bananas on that table disappeared, and my family blamed the servants for eating all the fruits in the house. And one day, what had happened? All the bananas which were kept in dining room near the window were disappeared, and the blame came upon the servants of the house that they had stolen the bananas. A few days later, the fruits disappeared again. This time, the blame was put on me. And I knew I had not done it. It made me very angry with my parents and the servants, for I was sure they had taken all the fruit. After that, again, after few days later, the fruits also disappeared from the dining room, and on that time the blame of stealing bananas came upon me. Came upon me means the keeper, the boy. And the boy became angry on his parents and the servants. And first I was sure they had taken all the fruit. And the boy was sure that the fruits had been taken by the servant. The next time the fruit disappeared, I found banana all smashed up in Kari pavilion. This surprised me very much, for I had never seen fruit there, and as you know, he had always lived on twigs. And what happened? The next time, fruit also disappeared, and I found a banana all smashed. Smashed means to break into pieces, broken into pieces. In Kari's pavilion, near Kari's thatched hut. And this surprised me very much. I became more surprised, for I had never seen fruit there, and as you know, he had always lived on twigs, because Kari was always depended on twigs. Thank you. We will come on the next topic, on next video. Thanks for watching.